Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Here on this channel we talk about everything to do with the African diaspora, politics, music, life, love and everything in between. So if you're interested in those topics, then like, share and remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload another video. Right, so today I want to talk about how racism is passed down from parent to child. So I'm not going to go into, massive detail in every scenario, but I'm going to give you one scenario in particular. Parents may knowingly or unknowingly be passing on racist ideologies to their children and really setting them up for the future, for a future that will consist of the ideas around white privilege and so on and so forth. So we're going to look at whether racism is a product of bad parenting, because when you consider why is it that in this generation we're still seeing and experiencing attitudes around race and around white privilege and anti-blackness. Where are these ideas coming from in this generation? So I'm going to give you an example of where I think a lot of parents go wrong and where I think a lot of parents may knowingly or unknowingly be setting their children up for these racist ideas and the legacy of which we can all see every single day, right? I'm going to give you my experience. I'm going to give you what I would consider to be one of my first experiences of racism, or the first that I can actually remember. So I was around 5 at the time, 5 or 6, and I remember I was at school and I was chosen for the lead role in a play, and the play was, I do believe it was Goldilocks, right? So I was selected to be Goldilocks, and whoever selected to be Goldilocks also got to wear this really beautiful dress. And I just want you to imagine for a moment, the Disney dresses that you see that the Disney princesses wear. So really quite big, flamboyant, really pretty dress with little tiaras and stuff like that. So this was Goldilocks, right? But they had this dress anyway. You know what school was like with their props and everything. So anyway, I was selected to wear this dress. And the parents objected to me playing this role. Not the black parents, it was the white parents. And it wasn't the men or the fathers, it was actually the women that were very vocal about me not playing this part and them believing that their own child should, have this role, this position. So much so, they were so insistent that they actually said, and I remember this, she can't be Goldilocks because she's black. Now, I remember in my head now, I mean, obviously I'm just 5, so I don't have much of I don't really have a voice at that time. I found myself in a situation where the white parents were totally opposed to me playing Goldilocks. I have sense enough to know that these parents were damn out of order, right? You're going to feel some kind of way about that, right? So, but I remember them saying that. Now, there were 2 dresses because there were going to be 2 performances. And one was the pretty dress I spoke of, and another was this, really ugly dress. I know it was purple and it was like this heavy curtain velvet. And it really wasn't a nice dress. And anyway, the parents, the white mums, had their way. So I was not allowed to play that role. The role was given to a white girl, and I was given this ugly dress to wear. Now, I remember trying this dress on against my will. Like, my mom, bless her, she was really trying to convince me that it was okay. The dress is fine, a lovely dress. Oh, Donna, it's a lovely dress. We both knew it wasn't a lovely dress, right? But she was trying to, convince me that this dress was actually, a nice dress. I tried the dress on, and I'm telling you now, I don't remember playing any part. Everything else after that is a complete blur. But I remember thinking, even at the time, that what these parents have done is they've just taught their child that by way of being white entitles them to something that somebody else has. The teachers were also really, I guess, to blame, because they conceded very easily to the pressure of these white mums. Now, when I look back at that now, I still would consider that to be really setting their child up for a future and a belief in white privilege, because that was what they were exercising at the time, right? Their own privilege. But the ideas around having a right to something that somebody else has is so steeped heavily in colonialism. I mean, when you think about South Africa even now, where they're having, these uprisings, and there's a lot of tension right now in the country. And, there was a lot of tension around the idea of South Africans, black Africans wanting their land back. It's the same, it's two totally different situations, but the same idea persists. It's the idea that you can go and take, because that land was stolen from the South Africans by force at the barrel of a gun. They didn't consent to their land being taken from them. Their land was taken and they were shoved into townships, right? The idea that you can just come and take something that somebody else is given or somebody else has, just by virtue or not unvirtue of being white, is a disgrace. So when we think about how these ideas around whiteness and white privilege and racism continue to exist, it's in the homes and the families of people that believe themselves to be more entitled than another, for no other reason other than their own whiteness. You could argue with me, Goldilocks, she's a white girl, or with blonde hair or something like that. You can argue that with me. All right, let's argue that then. We're talking about a children's play and creative license. I would still argue that that situation is no different to, colonizers going to places like Rhodesia and stealing their land, places like South Africa and stealing their land. What is the difference? So, is racism a product of bad parenting? That yes, it is. Obviously, it's something that is maintained systemically, but it's still rooted in the ideas around entitlement and whiteness. And it's an experience that I remember, because it was the first time I ever remember, or I think it was the first time I realized I was different. In that sense, I was different. And it was the first time I really remember being othered in that way, right? Or, the attempts to make me feel less than or not entitled to, So obviously now, I look back and I realize that, I can honestly say it's not the last time. I have so many experiences of racism, even, as a child, and right now, even as an adult, I can really recall many experiences of racism, because I guess, as a child, racism does not necessarily impact on you economically. It may impact on your parents. It impacts on you in your economics later on down in life, when you're not granted opportunities or other people are favored over you because of their whiteness or their relation to whiteness. Because there's also that as well. You have some black people that will say, it's not about racism. If you can prove that you're capable and you're this and you're that. I would also argue that those who do have those ideas around whiteness and racial superiority or inferiority, your closeness to whiteness would also grant you, perhaps favors that, the further away you are from whiteness is the further away you are from opportunities, right? So some people will understand exactly what I'm talking about. Some people will be wondering. I'll clarify that another time, not right now. But if you have experiences of whiteness, and do you agree or do you disagree that racism is a result, first and foremost, of bad parenting? I don't think I had any interest in any of those fairy tale dresses again after that. Never wore one, never wanted to wear one. I still had an interest in reading and books, but other than that, I had absolutely no desire to have anything that was overly Eurocentric at all. And I think maybe that's the reason why. Bye-bye.